Welcome to another episode of the Couples Academy Show. Today, we're talking about the 5 hidden addictions of an affair. Join us now.
Well, good morning. Hello.
Hello.
There we go. There we go. I got my coffee in me. I got it in me. Hello, everybody. Everybody. We're actually broadcasting from Raleigh, North Carolina. Good to be here over the weekend, a little getaway. And but we had to come live to be with you here this morning. My name is Hassani.
I'm Danielle.
And we are Couples Academy. Listen, we want you to share. We want you to share this video because we're going to be talking about some information that's really going to be enlightening as to the why of an affair. Oftentimes when people engage in affairs, it is critically important for them to understand the reasoning behind it. Not only must they understand it, their spouse must understand it as well. If there's no understanding, then it leaves individuals stuck, not able to effectively move forward, because if they don't know why it happened, they don't know if they could prevent it from happening again. And one thing that we know is that an affair has several layers to it. There are several components to it. There's several aspects of it. It's never as simple. It's never as black and white as one would think. And so I think that if we peel back the layers, think about an onion. There are several layers that get to the core of the reason. Well, there are layers, if you will, to an affair. And that's what we're here to talk about here today. And so we're going to start off by talking about the very first addiction. And this is in no particular order, but it just happens to be the first one that we're talking about. But listen, guys, before we jump in, we just want to acknowledge those that are signing in this morning. We have so many new people because we're on Periscope. So not only are we on Facebook and we're on YouTube, we're on Periscope. So we want to say welcome to the new family members, but we have Rachel. Good to see you, Rachel. Steven, Raya, Lewis, Sahil, Black Hole G691.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, everybody. All right, so let's jump in. Listen, the first addiction associated with an affair is the addiction to sex. And so oftentimes when people are addicted to sex, what they're addicted to an orgasmic release. And that orgasmic release can come in a variety of ways. It can come from actual sex with multiple people. It can come from compulsive masturbation. It can come from the viewing of pornography, going to massage parlors, having one-night stands. But there's this addiction for this drive to get this sensation, this fix. But one thing we know about the desire to feel that pleasure, it's short-lived. It is not long-lasting. You know, as they say, love lasts for hours, sex lasts for minutes, and orgasms last for seconds. And some people are addicted to that high that they get in a split second, no matter what the consequence may be to their career, to their family, and to their reputation.
And think about this. We're talking about the 5 hidden addictions of an affair. And one thing I wanted to highlight is that, you know, these addictions have nothing to do with the hurt partner. And a lot of times the hurt partner is trying to figure out, what is it can I do more of? How can I fix this? I'm sexy. I'll be more sexy. I'll match you for your desire. And unfortunately, if somebody has this brokenness and has this lack of worthiness, because that's really where it's rooted at, then it doesn't matter how much you do until they heal their brokenness. They're going to have to experience this release. They're going to have that buildup of this anxiety to release and have some kind of sexual experience until they get their wholeness.
And so when you hear people say, listen, it's not you, it's me. Well, you can believe that. There's a lot of validity to that. And a lot of times, to your point, the hurt spouse takes on all the burden and the responsibility and the blame for why their spouse cheated. Well, maybe if I did this more, if I became that more. And it has zero to do with you because the addiction is internal. It's interesting because the National Council of Sexual Addiction and Compulsivity said that literally they get 50 emails and 30 to 40 phone calls every single week from people all around the country, either from the person struggling with the addiction or the family member. And so it speaks to how serious this issue really is. We have some interesting information. A residential treatment center for addictions reported that 80% of patients being treated for sexual addiction were corporate executives or high-level professionals. Now, so I think what that does is it changes the face or the idea of who's struggling with an addiction. Oftentimes we have in our minds what this person should look like, but even those who supposedly have it all together at the highest levels of society, they have these struggles as well.
Yes, I had a client who was actually, she used to work with men, and she told me that she would actually deal with these high-level executives, C-level, like the most powerful men, who would call her in because they wanted to be dominated. They have an addiction, and they're so powerful that they actually need somebody to tie them up and beat on them because of their need and their desire. So, I mean, these addictions, they span all kinds of gamuts now. There's no limit to the types of addictions that you can have. But when we are married to somebody that has these addictions and we're trying to fix it and save the day, you know, it's really futile. They really need to go get professional help to deal with the core root issue. What happened in childhood? Because a lot of this stuff, we saw pornography when we were 5 years old, and now ever since then we've been chasing the high. Things like that we're unaware of, and they're like buried deep. We need to find somebody that can unearth all that stuff and get us whole so we can restore ourselves and then restore our relationships.
There was an amazing book that was written many years ago called A Sexual Profile of Men in Power. And the authors embarked on a study of prostitutes and ended up writing a book instead about their best clients, politicians. And to your point with your client, she deals with CEOs and doctors and attorneys and athletes and priests. And these are the individuals who have positions of power who oftentimes struggle the most. And it goes back to, you know what, I've spent my life telling people what to do, being in power, being in influence, and everybody submitting to my will. And so I want to be in a space where I can reverse the role.
Yeah, they want to be dominated.
They want to be dominated.
They want to be overpowered.
Yeah. And then for others, there's just this intensity and this drive. There was someone who anonymously said that I had sex with hundreds and hundreds of women I met in travels and business. Some numerous times, some one time, some whenever I was in town, he says. I believe you will find a lot of people out there just like me. Executives are usually driven, power hungry, and egomaniacs. Hard drinking and women are often a part of our story. Wow. And so it's really powerful. And I don't want to limit an addiction to just high profile individuals or just men, because we know that statistically 84% of all sex addicts are associated with being men, but 16% of sex addicts, masturbation, pornography, multiple sex experiences with people are women. So it's not gender specific. It's something that many people struggle with.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, let's go to the second one. The second addiction is the addiction to love. And that is when you are addicted to a heightened physical or emotional feeling that's a part of this in-love phase. We know that the infatuation or the in-love phase in most relationships lasts for about 2 years, and then all of a sudden it begins to shift, wither, and wane. And so then you enter into normalcy. But someone who's addicted to the in-love feeling will then pursue relationships to get that high again.
Yeah, you hear people say, I fell so hard in love, I fell out of love, right? And so we got to stop falling, number one, because there's a commitment that we're missing that part. Because if every time I fall out of love, I got to go start searching for that feeling again, I'm going to be disappointed in every single relationship. There's also certain personality types that lean into that more, who idealize relationships, who have a need for love and connection, and when they don't feel it reciprocated, then they start seeking outside, or they start to actually internalize it and think that there's something wrong with them because they're not receiving the love that they originally were feeling.
Yeah, and then when you think about a new relationship, as we always say, new is sexy. People are attracted to new. When there's a new in-love feeling, what comes along with that? The passionate pursuit. adoration, the thrill of infatuation. And so once, things have become normal between the two of us, I want something more. I want what we had when we first started.
Well, I want to feel it.
Yeah.
A lot of times you still have all the basics. You still are with somebody that's loving and caring, but you are addicted to that in love feeling, which it does. It dwindles and it wanes and it changes, right? It becomes more of a long-term committed kind of love. It's not necessarily this euphoric feeling anymore. We talk about this all the time. Like, there was a time when you could hold hands and the static, you were like, oh, jump, right? You turned on just by holding hands. Well, maybe that's the way it's supposed to be because those endorphins are jumping to attract you to one another, right? But after a while, you've got to have some kind of emotional maturity so that you know that it's not going to stay that way, and that love needs to shift into a more of a long-term, stable love.
And interestingly enough, people who are addicted to love, if they are in an affair, when that type of attention is now reciprocated, a genuine reciprocation of the attention, all of a sudden they wake up from their stupor like, oh, this is not what I really want. Reality sets in. I'm not looking for a long-term relationship. I'm looking for a feeling, and the feeling no longer exists in the affair. And so that causes them to leave that relationship and jump to another, and then to hop back and forth into their marriage, hoping to get what they lost a long time ago. And so a lot of times spouses, the betrayed spouse, they're broken when they find these steamy love letters and these text messages that have the pronouncement of love and fantasy and the infatuation, and it's really crushing to help overcome those particular feelings. So the addiction to love. All right, let's go to the next one. Then there's the addiction to romance. Think about it. Romance is a very critical element in a healthy, successful relationship. And usually relationships start out very romantic. And so there's this desire for the weekend getaway and the romantic destination and the mood setting.
I might be addicted to romance.
You think so?
I might.
Tell me more about that.
I mean, you think about, you do want a little bit of romance sprinkled in here and there, right? And maybe some of this is okay when it's inside the relationship. I think the issue comes in because we're talking about addictions of an affair. Right? So if I'm stepping out and looking for romance outside of you, that's a big problem. But if I'm looking for romance inside with you, I think we're good.
I think that is good, right?
Okay.
But that drive, that need to have, as we said, it's about the candles and the violins and all of those wonderful things. And I think what happens is in a relationship, you just stop doing it. You feel like you don't need to do that anymore. And so this is why you can actually learn from an affair. Not that there's anything good about an affair, but once you realize what is a part of an affair, you can take certain components of it and bring it back into your relationship, because that's where it should have been in the first place.
I think the big issue here is that when people decide that they're no longer going to put effort into the relationship, this does not give the affair partner a pass, right? But this just explains that if you are having a struggle and addicted to romance, now you might start seeking out. That doesn't validate it in any way, shape, or form. But here you are now searching for what you don't have inside your relationship. This is just another form and another reason why people step out.
That's very true. Sandra says keeping romance alive is so important, and it is. You want to give romance a chance in your relationship. Jimmy from Periscope says, can you be in love with more than one person? That's a great question.
That is a great question.
I think that you can think about the three types of love. You have eros love, which is the sensual, sexual, emotional, erotic type of love. But then you have agape love and phileo love, which is more of a caring, enduring type of love. And I think what happens is as the in-love infatuation feeling fades in a marriage, you still love them, you care for them, you want the best for them, you're willing to support and do all types of things for them. But that emotional feeling may be for someone else. I don't know if you can have a strong emotional desire for two people at the same time, because now your heart, I mean, I could see how you can have one.
I can definitely see how you can have the in love feeling and that infatuation with multiple people, because it's the euphoria stage, right? It's that beginning stage. Once you move into the phileo love, where it's long term and committed and more caring, it's sort of like an oxymoron, right? If you're long term and committed with me, then how can you be that with other people, right? So I do think that that's where people get twisted, right? They have these feelings and these emotions for people because they haven't had any struggles. They haven't gone through anything yet. This is the big issue. It's just like you're stepping out to try to find something, this feeling with somebody else, with someone who you haven't really gotten to know them. You haven't been frustrated by them. You haven't been disappointed by them. And the minute you do become disappointed by them and have a real experience with them, you'll be on to the next person too. So you are still in search of this insatiable feeling that if you don't get the help you need to restore yourself so you're not addicted to it, you'll continue to do that.
And that's why it's so critically important that when you're in a marriage, when you're in a committed relationship, you have to guard your heart, because it's so easy to allow yourself to be distracted and tempted by outside forces that will pull your heart and your mind in so many different directions. There should be an energy that you have with your partner, an emotional, a sexual, a social energy that's protected, because once you have that, then the relationship begins to grow.
Yeah, we got some comments.
Oh, we do.
You're at the bottom though.
Oh, okay. What if your husband does not like doing romantic things together? Well, that's worthy of a conversation.
That is
because,
worthy of conversation.
You know, it's important that you talk about how it's important to you and what you like. And if you're in a mutually beneficial relationship, then his desire should be to meet your need and your desire should be to meet his need.
Right.
And when you both win, you win as a couple.
Right. I mean, we're talking about, you know, if Hassani wasn't as romantic as I need him to be, that's not going to mean I suddenly have a romance addiction, right? We're talking about people who are insatiable and they cannot stop themselves because they're in search and trying to fulfill this need. Somebody else had asked above, well, then what's the point? If I can't fix them, then what's the point of staying with them? And I think that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about these addictions where people actually need to go and get the support that they need. The fact is that you cannot fix your partner. I don't care what the issue is, whether they have an addiction, bad habits, language issues, whatever it is, weight issues, you cannot fix your partner.
You can't.
So there are different people that help and specialize in different things. They need to get themselves in the hands of somebody that can support them with whatever addiction that they have.
Listen, you're watching the Couples Academy show. We hope you're getting so much information. We've covered the first 3 addictions, but we'll cover the next 2 right after this quick commercial break.
My name is Jose, and this is my wife, Kathy. We just finished our first meeting with Couples Academy, and it has been a life-changing experience. First time I heard about Asami was when I was driving my car, tears in my eyes, and I was in a situation where I thought I was losing it all. Somehow going through videos on how to be a better person came out a narrative version of the process, and I saw myself, my relationship, everything that I was going wrong in my relationship was being narrated by Hassani. So I forwarded to her. She watched some of the videos and
I contact Hassani, and he gave me a call back. I was in Colombia. I told him I think we need to do this, and it's been three amazing days.
Yeah, we have changed our life. We couldn't do it ourselves. I definitely think that if this didn't happen, I don't know where we would have been now. I would definitely recommend this for people who are struggling through marriage. It doesn't matter what the situation is. Couples Academy has showed me that they've been through a lot of different situations. They have done it all. And I don't think there is a specific situation where they cannot help. I mean, it will help. It will help at least internally for you to be a better person and eventually save your marriage.
Don't wait until mistakes happen in the relationship. I wish we would have done this before, but it happened now. It happened for a reason, and thank God it really happened, and we were agreed to do it, and we did it, and I'm so excited for the things that we're gonna apply now.
We recommend it.
All right, we're back. We're back. We've had questions that we want to quickly get to. Sandra says, what if, there we go, thank you. What if both partners don't have the same sexual, intellectual, spiritual, and emotional energy and are different? Well, I think we all are different. I think one of the challenges maybe is that we expect our partner to be just like us. We are different, and we have different energies and different levels to things. And this is the hard work. I mean, nobody said relationships would be easy.
Right.
I mean, there was something that initially brought you together. There was a connection. There was a passion. There was a level of intensity that you both had, whatever that may have been. So the question is, has it been lost? How was it lost? You reverse engineer that to figure out what you need to do to get it back. And then the other thing is you're different. Like, you change. You go through changes.
That's key
in life.
That's key. We change. And my thing is, like, you know, what is your level of commitment with the person? I mean, these things like this are the reasons why these are the reasons people give for stepping out. Well, she didn't have enough sexual energy or whatever. We have all these reasons why we step out trying to find something in somebody else, when you stepping out with somebody else who has their own bag of issues that you just did not discover yet. That's why you have people on their third, fourth, fifth, and sixth marriages, like, because they did not have long suffering, and they weren't willing to work through issues and cover the multitude of sins that we all have, right? And the moment we find a flaw, we're looking at that flaw as the reasons to get out. We have to learn to work out these differences. We
really do. Listen, we got two more we're going to jump into. The next addiction. First of all, we were talking about the addiction to sex, and then the addiction to love, and then the addiction to romance. Well, the fourth addiction is the addiction to the internet. We know that because of technology and the internet and the ability to connect online, it's much easier to get caught up into things. And the thing is, you can pursue sex, romance, and love online. It happens all the time. And even though you go online and initially it's for entertainment or recreational purposes, it can then begin to transition into something that's highly inappropriate.
Absolutely. And you'll find that even if you have good intentions, people are constantly pursuing you, right? So you get on there and somebody's poking you on Facebook or saying hi or doing something to let you know that they're interested. I mean, people are very bold with it now. They used to try to play it off and act like they just trying to say hi, but now they are very, very bold with it. And so if you have a weakness, right, if you know that you have these addictions, this is a boundary that you might want to consider setting around yourself. I know plenty of people who have decided that they are not going to do social media because of the fact that it's too easy to sneak out and do something, or it's too easy for them to slide into something that they didn't have no business sliding into.
Absolutely. I mean,
sliding into the DMs.
There it is. And that's why, to your point, a lot of our clients, one of them doesn't have it or both choose not to
Right.
have it because it's a danger zone. We just did a conference this past weekend and we were talking about social media etiquette for couples. And somebody, I remember some time ago, reached out to me and kept reaching out to me. And I got to the point I had to just shut it down. And I remember I put a post up on Facebook and Instagram. And what I did was I took a picture of Danielle and I put this message on it. I'm going to read it to you. It says, "Beware, I'm married. If you're using Facebook as a hunting ground to secure companionship or to indulge in a secret sexual rendezvous, I am not available prey. My Facebook status, my posts, my videos, my business, my ministry clearly indicates that I'm married. Not just married, but happily married. I don't have room for any more friends, inappropriate conversations, occasional check-ins, pokes, waves, or flirtatious back and forth banter. Keep your pictures, keep your compliments, and most importantly, keep your integrity. That's all you really have. I'm not just a male, I'm a man. A male makes decisions with his penis. A man makes decisions with his mind. I surround myself with real men to ensure that I live in integrity. This post is not meant to expose the women who have shamelessly pursued through Messenger. Rather, this post is meant to expose me for who I really am. Happily married. Anything and everything that I will ever want to need is found in my wife, Danielle Pettiford. So take a good look at this picture. There's no me without her. We're a package deal. And if that's something that you're into, the answer is still no. I'm a member of a new sexual revolution, and I'm leading a movement of honest, integral, faithful men and women who choose to honor God's first institution, marriage. Regardless of your past, it's not too late to jump on board this train. It's a one-way ticket on the path to marital fulfillment. Who's joining me? And I think that was the most shared, liked.
It was probably
post.
the most. And you know what was cool about that is that, see, it's all about integrity, right? Can I trust what you're doing when my eyes are not on you? So I wake up to see the post myself and I'm like, wow, you know, instead of me finding out that somebody was pursuing Hassani because he was engaging in conversation out of curiosity or he just needed to have his ego stroked, instead I find out somebody was pursuing him because he shut them down. That's the example. That's manhood. That's what that
manhood.
is. And that's something that's something that every woman wants, is to know that her husband has integrity when she's not looking.
There it is. That's what we all want to know, for the men and for the women. All right, hope that helped. Here's the very last addiction, and it's really multiple addictions, because when you're dealing with, see, there are some individuals who have an addictive personality for things, period.
Yeah.
So whether it be love or romance or sex, it could be alcohol, it could be drugs,
anything.
You can be addicted to video games, whatever it is. If there's something that's drawing you further and further away from your spouse, it's critically important that you get that in line and get that in check. And listen, that is not a marriage issue or a couple issue. That is an individual issue that you have to work on. Because as you begin to work on you and begin to resolve those issues internally, it will positively impact your marriage.
Absolutely.
And so the question is, what addiction? I'm just
just,
saying,
you
we
know,
just
like,
flowing.
what
That's
are
just
your
what
addictions?
it is. What are you addicted to?
Yes.
What are you addicted to? You need to really take the time to search yourself, because a lot of us, number one, are oblivious to who we really are. True. Right? And a lot of us have this image of us that isn't true to the reality that other people see in us. And so we're too high-minded. We're too, I don't know. You have to dig within yourself. Just like there's a higher level of you, there's a lower level of you.
That's right.
Just like you have many wonderful qualities, you have many struggles.
That's right.
And you need to properly assess what that is.
And you need to be aware of when the lower levels of you are rising. That's the thing. Since we ebb and flow between personalities and all this all the time based on the stresses in our lives, we have to be aware. We know when we're sinking. We have to be aware, tune in, and dial it down. So
we hope you got something out of today's show. We are in a series, and we hope to see you in the morning. Make sure you share this. We love you all.
Bye.
Talk to you soon.
Can't bring us down, can't nothing bring us down. Our love is too high, bring us down, can't nothing bring us down, bring us